Hello! Welcome to our channel! Are you ready to enter the realm of terror? Join us as we delve into the chilling story of a gamer who stumbled upon a nightmare hidden within an online game. Will he survive the horror that lies ahead or become a victim to the unknown? Watch now to find out. But be warned, once you start playing, there's no turning back. Have you ever tried to play One Word Story? It's a basic game in which a few people take turns going around the circle to create a phrase. Each person adds one word until the phrase is finished, then at some point someone says period and it is read aloud. It's really fun if you play with the right people, but I'm an antisocial person with only one or two buddies. They don't enjoy the game as much as I do, so I play with strangers on a random chat site. Because it's fully anonymous, my identity should be protected. Anyway, it was Saturday late afternoon, and I was in the middle of a game when my apartment went dark. It was most likely caused by the high heat. Other neighbors in my building had complained about the power being out around this time all week. It just lasted a few minutes, but when the power was restored, I discovered that I had been disconnected from the site. I couldn't rejoin because it kept crashing or whatever, and I kept being disconnected. I'm easily bored, and I was angry that I hadn't finished my game. So I turned to Google and typed up chat room, anonymous, one-word story. I had 23,000 results after 0.18223 seconds. I browsed down the page and visited a few websites. But either the players were bad or I was sent to an anonymous sex chat site. I didn't find anything fascinating until the third page of results, microfiction.com. I entered the site by clicking the headline, then logged in as a visitor. I was surprised at how serious this site was to an overall easy game: mystery, parody, anime, music, cartoons, horror, movies, superstition, and superhero were just a few of the categories in which users might play One Word Story. I went to mystery first and played a few short games, then to horror, then to music, and a few others for no obvious reason. I eventually went to use the restroom. I made a decision to bookmark the website for future use. The site was well organized. There were subheadings beneath each primary title, such as horror. Members were hosting these games. Some games included only a few players, while others had 30 or 40. Some were available to everyone, while others were private games that you could only access if you had a password given to you by the host. I played for a few hours, having a great time since everyone here took the game seriously enough to make each phrase fascinating, but still had enough fun to make the entire tale entertaining to read loud while still making sense. It was 10 o'clock now, and 10:30 was my self-imposed bed, so I agreed to playing one more game before bed. When I returned to mystery for the final time that night, I discovered a private game. I couldn't message the person to ask to join since I was a visitor on the site, and I would have kept browsing for a public game if the website hadn't frozen. When I refreshed it, I discovered that the game had been turned to public, with only one player. I considered it a one-on-one game of One Word Story, and I was pleased at the prospect that this man would be just as skilled as I was, and we could come up with something truly unique. So I signed up. The host, username Leo1991, went first. I appeared almost quickly on the screen. This guy's fearlessness amazed me, because saying I in this game generally ended in awkward sentences in the long run. So I rewarded him with a word that was simple enough to keep the phrase going: see. He nearly instantly answered with you. This was a really inexperienced strategy. It would make the game more difficult to complete, and the unsettling approach was never enough to make me give up. I decided to humor him anyway, and typed, through. Here was his reaction. I considered where the phrase was heading and noted that my living room window had remained open since the afternoon. I typed window. His reply was a period, which signaled the conclusion of the phrase. I can see you through the glass. I laughed to myself as I realized this person was a creep, a player who tries to scare his opponents out of the game by saying scary or unpleasant things. He was definitely supported by a companion, and they were planning ways to terrify me. I didn't blame them. My sister and I did the same thing for my parents last Halloween when I babysat. I started the following phrase. His response, not at all, I say. His reply, safe. My answer was a period, which ended the sentence. You are in danger. I laughed again and watched as he started the next phrase. The word I appeared on the screen. I typed him first, then coming second. I considered finishing the sentence there as a little punishment for the guys not taking the game seriously. Instead, I typed 4 to see whether he'd enter what I expected. He typed. I correctly guessed and entered a period. I'm coming to get you. It was no longer hilarious, but rather boring. There was a chat, so I used it to tell the person to stop saying creepy things. I told him it wasn't funny and that if he didn't stop, I'd leave the game. He did, in fact, respond. Take a look out your window. That threw me off surprise, but I did as I was told. Across the street. I hadn't realized that a lamppost's bulb had gone out. It was quite dark, and I couldn't see any shapes. I returned my attention to the screen. Leo 1991 had wrote and I saw he had made another comment in the chat. He was basically telling me what to write. I was becoming tired of him, but 10:30 was just 5 minutes away, so I simply finished and did what he requested. Half is what I typed. He pressed the A key. I typed gun. 2, he typed. You're is what I typed. Head, he typed. I put a period at the end of the sentence. I have a gun to your head. I yawned and stretched at my desk, closing my eyes. I simply wanted the game to end. When it was my time, he showed me another set of words, so I wrote I. Am, he typed. At, I typed. He wrote your. I entered window. He inserted a period. I'm at your window. I understood the game was done when I read it aloud. We had made the story connect to our opening sentence. I read every phrase loud out of habit. I see you through the window. You are not safe. I am coming for you. I have a gun to your head. I'm at your window. I finished reading and yawned as I leaned my head on my chair. I was sleepy and contemplating falling asleep in my chair when aloud. A cracking sound echoed across the empty street outside, and I discovered a spiderweb break in the center of my computer monitor. I blinked to full consciousness and noticed it. A bullet sparkles out of my screen. I screamed when I turned around to see someone in a mask looking in through my window. I jumped from my chair and into my bedroom in a panic. I hid in the closet, under a mountain of dirty clothes, then waited, trying to control my fast breathing while my eyes adjusted to the uncomfortable darkness. After a few minutes, I heard light footsteps. The crazy was in my room. His black boots and leather pants were visible. He fired the gun once more at my bedsheets. He must have assumed I was hiding underneath the blankets. He rummaged through my clothes and took something I thought was money or prescription medication. He went into my bathroom and fired a shot into the shower. He took a look around the room before turning around and checking under my bed. He was almost level with the floor, helping me to see his features. He was at least 6 feet tall, dressed in all black except for his mask, which was white with red tear tracks under the eyes and a painted set of crooked, beast-like teeth. He appeared to see perfectly in the dark. I could only see him because his clothing were darker than the already dark inside of my bedroom. He stood up and went out of my room after what seemed like an eternity. I lingered in my closet all night, finally falling asleep while still covered in my dirty socks and underpants. I smelled bad in the morning, so I took a shower right away. I stepped on the bullet that had made a hole in my shower curtains as I did so. I then called the cops, who told me to come down to the station. I was ready to go but couldn't find my keys. I was searching through my desk drawers when I saw my monitor was broken. I could still see the website, chat room, and game and took a photo of it with my phone to show the cops. Now, while searching for my keys in the kitchen, it seemed to me that I had kept them in my dresser drawer, and I went into my room to discover that what the psycho had taken was my keys. I groaned and was going to call a ride from a friend when I accidentally opened my photo album. I was angry with myself until I took another look at the photo I had taken. Something in the picture seemed different from what I remembered from the night before. In the conversation, there was a new line. Just one word. A straightforward question. After a game, a word I had used so many times over the words. I never expected this word to send shivers down my spine or freeze my blood in my veins. Rematch? Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and share it to help it reach more people. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the story or the channel in the comments. If you have any suggestions for future videos, let us know. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. Thanks again! And see you in the next one!